In this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast, I thought we might laugh at ourselves a little bit because things happen. We are not necessarily the most smooth people in the world. In fact, I'm downright clumsy. I'm a big old oaf, and I thought we'd talk about the humorous ways that RVers, including ourselves, find to hurt ourselves while we are traveling. And usually these bumps and bruises have stories. So welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We're your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Clint.
I'm PJ.
And I have never once hurt myself while camping.
Lies.
Oh, no.
Lies.
Yeah, that's a lie.
You're gonna
I
find
have
some,
been there.
So
I have been there.
What I've done here is I have, you know me, I just brain dump all kinds of ways that either I have hurt myself or I've seen or heard someone hurting themselves. I've brain dumped them, but I expect these to trigger you, like straight up to like trigger memories, emotionals, maybe tears. If you're listening along,
I'm not going to cry.
Picture yourself RVing. Everything's going great. Till it isn't.
Okay, how graphic is this going to get?
It's up to you. It's your stories.
Ooh.
It's true.
Yeah, these are your triggers, your stories.
But yeah, to be clear, we're talking about bumps and bruises. We're not talking about tragedy here.
I have so many categories.
I know, but no tragedy, okay? Deal?
I mean, no
serious tragedy here.
No, falling off the cliff.
No,
kind of thing. Okay, fine.
No heart attacks.
That's my other podcast.
This is all bumps and bruises
that I haven't started yet.
Well, and I think we ought to say right up front that early on we recognized this as one of the things that happened because we're pretty experienced at it, as
Yes.
I think most good campers are. So we brought in an expert named Terry. And she is one of our great friends of the podcast. And she did a first aid podcast,
Right.
episode 16.
Way back, right?
That was almost 5 years
We
ago.
got to get her back.
So great episode. If you guys really want to know what to do when you're camping, I want to point that out right up front because that's a cool episode. I learned a lot.
If you are in our area, she offers first aid and AED classes, so you'll get all of her stories and her fantastic teaching as well. So just saying, Central Texas, look up Terry Lucas, and her business is Cardiac Lifesavers. It starts with a K, not a C, and get some training in this. But let's talk about these pinches, bumps, bruises, abrasions,
All the things.
the boo-boos.
Well, I noticed pinches is where you started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Folding steps.
Folding steps. Have you been got by the folding steps?
Yes, I hate those steps.
Yeah. And there's only a few of them that are less likely. Most of the folding steps are way up there on the list of going to get you sometime.
But I think they've really made some great improvements because now we have the steps, like the more right steps, and there's
Those are good.
another with solid step.
Yeah.
That folds into the doorway.
Yep, solid step I'm good with.
Because, yeah, the downside of those solid steps are if it's wet or if it's really dirty outside, it dumps it all inside your camper. So I say wipe it off, dust it off before you fold it up and live with it because you don't hurt yourself opening the step underneath. I love that.
You know what else I've been pinched by is the awning. The awning on my trailer, you have to push in the button and then extend the pole.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've never
that
really...
telescoping pole gets you right on the webbing of your head.
Yeah, I've never really mastered how to push it in and pull it without it taking my skin with it.
Every time, like every trip?
Yeah, but I've honestly...
Yeah, like, I've grown calluses.
I've only put my awning out like twice the
is that
entire
why?
time I've had my camper.
Or is it because of the concern of the wind and all that? It's the injury.
No,
You're scared.
I mean, like, what am I going to do? Pinch myself for a little bit of shade? I'm good. No?
You sound like our repair customers. They come in and say, my awning's not working. And we're like, well, it's working just fine. They said, oh, well, I've never put it up. We're like, your trailer's 3 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know what? We're just hitting this from the wrong angle. This is comfort and shade in a pinch.
Comfort and shade in a pinch.
That's right. I mean, just be
Just
like
a little pinch.
for low cost of a tiny little pinch.
Yep.
You can have shade.
You
right.
too.
Absolutely. And back to those folding steps, I find that when they're when they haven't been maintained, because you can put a little grease or whatever to make sure that they move more smoothly. When they haven't been maintained, I am more likely to pinch myself because you're really pushing or pulling on them, whichever way they operate, and they give, and that's when the pinch happens.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So, what about those other things we're bringing, like the folding chairs, tent rooms, and gazebos and whatnot? I mean, everything that has a lever action, I can find a way to pinch.
There's so many things that fold out when you're camping. I don't think I've ever been pinched by any of those things.
Okay. What about a zipper? Been caught in a zipper?
No.
No, guys have, but not on the gazebo, I hope. And what about pinches hitching up? Maybe a pinch at the toe ball with the latch mechanism.
No. I don't think I've ever been pinched by that. Have you?
two have not
because it
lived.
just doesn't move. I mean, seriously, I carry a rubber mallet just so I can get it down sometimes. I do.
You do. I know you do. It's like a dead blow mallet.
Okay, so
It is. I think every woman needs it because sometimes our hands aren't strong enough. And as we get older, they don't get stronger.
Let's face it. Women carry a hammer just for the visual.
just carry a hammer.
Just carry a hammer. Swing that thing. It's a power move.
Yeah.
And you can convince your trailer hitch system.
Yeah. And you don't get pinched.
Have you ever been hurt by your rubber mallet though? Like betrayal?
Oh, we're coming up to those.
Oh, yeah, probably yes.
In the smashes and crushes section?
Oh, that's the next section. Should we just roll on into that? Back to your
How long
mallet.
are we going to talk about pinching?
Well, it depends on what kind of turns this podcast takes.
How many puns he can come up with.
How many
right?
pinches?
Those cheeks are so cute. Okay, on to smashes and crushes. So we already talked about the hitching up, but what about anything in the way of the area on your trailer around wheel chocks? Any smashes there?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
I gotta not so much.
I mean, I have had trailer that wasn't chalked well that went over my toe.
Same. That's the next bullet point is actually the runaway trailer scenario.
Yep. I have had that twice actually. One was just the front wheel.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't chalked and you lifted it up and I'm standing there kind of bracing myself. Now, why my toe is in front of the wheel?
It's your wheel chalk.
It's where it wanted to be.
No, what do they call that? The caster?
Yeah.
So, and I was struggling to get it undone. And it comes undone, and it only rolled a few inches
onto your toe.
But that few inches went right on my foot. But it wasn't hard. It was a teardrop, so I was okay there. But I did have like the whole tire roll over my foot as well.
So at one of our shows at the Austin Convention Center, we had some trailers out out for the public outside the building on that little drive-through ramp, and it is a ramp. There's some tilt to it. You remember that show?
I do remember that.
They called it the apron.
Yes, and it was cold and all that, and we're loading out, and we're like, oh no, we have a trailer outside, and I just hustled off to go get it, and I went to town putting up stabilizer jacks and all that, and I was out there alone, and I got it loose, and then it went loose. And you know that thing directs the trailer weight straight into traffic, and there was traffic coming down. Well, I don't know. Is that that's Cesar Chavez?
Yeah, that's First Street.
Yeah, and
that's downtown.
Trailer started rolling, and I tried to get it, and I didn't put myself in front of it, but I was trying to grab the tongue, and that had a serious tongue weight and bogey wheel on it, and it went over my toe, and then some people who were about to get hit by a trailer stopped and then quickly got out and helped me to stop the trailer because I was across one lane and almost across two.
That is crazy, Clint.
Yeah. And that was my experience of a runaway trailer getting my toe and completely obliterating my ego.
I would be terrified if a trailer started rolling away from me.
Yeah.
Downtown Austin.
I would say bye. See you later.
Yeah.
Well, we had that a lot at our old location where the trailers would head across the street
towards the
bank.
Yes.
Because there was a bank across the street, and it was literally downhill.
It was a pretty steep hill.
I live right over there by there. It's still literally downhill. And I think that every time I pass by the old building, between the old building and the bank.
And I used to have to train people, do not jump in front of the trailer to stop it.
Yeah.
It will
grab the
run
tongue and
over
put your toe underneath the bogey wheel. Do that.
Well, Dave Hill tried to stop the trailer once, And so then the next time he tried to stop the forklift, and the forklift ran over him.
Is that why he's a little funny?
He's always funny.
He was clearly untrainable. So, object of this story is don't jump in front of your trailer if it starts moving. Just I don't know. Try to throw something in front of the wheel, but do not put your body in front of it.
I think another thing here is to make sure that all your insurances are up to date, and then just let it happen.
That's what I'm saying. I am not.
Maybe a better thing to say is chalk your wheels, guys. Just chalk your wheels.
Yeah.
You know, those wheel chalks, they're like $9 or $10 a piece.
Yeah.
And people save money on them all the time. They say, I just need one. I'm like,
no, chalk everything.
You don't just need one. And sometimes you can't tell if it's going to roll forward or backwards because it may be relatively flat.
Yep.
But if you have to raise it pretty high to get it off your vehicle, it's going to roll backwards. But then when you drop it down, it might roll forwards.
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. Wheel chalks are so cheap.
I mean, it's one of the first things. Okay, obviously we always talk about leveling side to side, but the first thing after level side to side is chalk the tires before you disconnect. And the last thing you do before you leave is unchalk the tires. If chalk the tires are the bookends of your moving, that really helps. Just kind of bookends.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense. What about underbed storage? Because I have smashed my fingers several times under there, and I am so mad every time I do it.
Yeah.
Every time I do it.
I've definitely smashed my hand and my fingers in those because I keep crawling in them.
What?
You do. And folks, if you want to see this, check out our TikTok channel for Princess Craft.
When I crawl, because they start going down and then they, what
really
is that
go.
Called? Where they like slam down.
Inertia lets go.
Gravity? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, you overcome
gravity.
the inertia. Yeah. The weight on mattresses are heavy. You've moved them. Mattresses are heavy. Plus the lid, if you will, it's wood. You know, and the telescoping lifts, they don't hit their efficiency until they're a little ways up. So that last few inches before smash, they can come down pretty quick.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty hard.
And the underbed storage usually has that splintery wood kind of underneath it.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of the trailers.
A lot of them, yeah.
So it's like a twofer. You get like a splinter and a finger smash in one.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, it's a twofer.
I absolutely hate splinters.
Yes.
I hate splinters. I mean, the only thing worse than splinters is a burn.
Are you more prone to leave a splinter in or to dig it out with a needle?
Dig it out. Don't leave it in.
No.
But do
Can't
you?
leave it in.
I mean, do you?
It's just creepy.
Creepy. I can see it.
Like you think something's gonna grow, like a tree's gonna grow?
No, but it's just creepy because how's it supposed to heal if you leave a splinter in it?
I mean, your body pushes
Your
it
body,
out.
yeah.
Eventually.
Over time, your body can handle it.
No.
No.
If it doesn't get infected.
No.
Do you know there was like a 2-year span where we went camping all the time, and every single time we went camping together, Hawk would get a splinter,
I do remember that.
and it was
Like every
World
time.
War III every single time. And I kept being, how are you the only person getting splinters and you get them every single time?
Did you figure that out?
Yeah, turns out he was a little boy.
Oh, okay, fair. Okay, so we're jumping down to the splinter.
Oh,
because
sorry.
So my
He
little
put his
boy.
hands on everything.
Yeah, my little boy. The first time I took him camping, and this was in Llano, out at Oxford Ranch, where I'm going to be this weekend. Actually, the first place I took him, it was his first experience with cactus. He reached out and grabbed a handful of cactus, and he was maybe 2, around 2. Yeah. So,
Well, I think that's, I mean, a lot of kids deal
oh
with
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well,
A lot of animals deal with that.
And face it, cactuses are real pretty. They beckon to you to reach out and grab
Do you
you.
remember there was this one time where I remember we were camping and there was one of those smooth cacti.
Those are the ones that get you. That's what I was going to say.
I remember,
The little
like,
bitty.
Yeah, that you can't
Sneaky
see and you can't
thorns.
dig them out.
but my dad put his hands on it and went like this to show Jackie, to my sister, that this is a special cactus that has no thorns.
What did he learn?
But my dad's hands are like super rough.
Yeah.
So he obviously knew what he was doing. And then Jackie was
I
like,
don't know about that.
let me see. And I remember sitting in the trailer and picking out hundreds out of Jackie's hands. My dad's hands were fine because they were all calloused.
And
nothing
it's
ever
the same
got in.
cactus.
And it was the exact same cactus. And then Jackie was like, that's so cool. And rubbed her hands on it. It was like, ow. Yeah, those thornless cactuses, they got thorns.
Yeah.
But tweezers and a needle when you go camping, make sure you have those things.
I think bone saw.
I feel like with little kids, a needle is sometimes a ton easier than
it's easier.
tweezers.
I agree. It's easier.
If
It's
they're not
more
looking at
traumatizing,
it.
but
Yeah,
it's easier.
just don't look at it because I promise it's not going to hurt as much.
And don't tell them what you're doing.
No.
Just say, hey, here, look over there, check out that
Spider-Man.
thing. Don't pay no attention to me. So, you know what gets me from the splinter and other things embedded in flesh category is the campground features. Sometimes it's the picnic tables or the handrails on a hike.
Yes.
Some of those handrails on a hike will really
They'll get
you. Yeah.
But you're holding onto the handrail so you don't fall and smash your collarbone. So
Yeah. So safety or not, you know what? Pick your poison here. So.
Yeah. Okay, I have to admit, ever since COVID, I am not a fan of handrails.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah.
who cleans handrails?
Nobody.
And the answer is nobody. So when I'm on a hiking trail, I got to be pretty scared to grab onto a handrail. I guess I assume I'll never fall down the stairs. So that may be the wrong way to look at it.
Yeah,
But
you know what?
stairs, I don't like handrails.
I don't know. There's many hikes that we take that we don't have hand sanitizer on us.
I guess that's probably true.
Because if it's a
weird
long
thing to
hike with
worry
my
about.
kids,
I mean, you're
yeah.
in nature. Can you imagine all the stuff you're touching? So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
the
think
grossest
it's
one,
not
the
fair.
grossest handrails to me are the ones on an escalator, but
Yes.
I have to
You don't
touch them.
You don't lick those?
I have to touch them
Okay.
or
I mean,
I will
sometimes
die.
Put my arm on it and not my hand.
Yeah, there you go.
So just to be sure I don't lose my balance.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when you're hiking, you grab stuff. That's what you do.
You grab stuff.
You do.
Yeah, you do. You just reach out and grab some
Raccoon.
Yeah. So cuts and pokes. Obviously, this is rife with opportunity with the cooking.
Especially since when you're camping, you're cooking like in a smaller area usually.
Right.
I would feel like you're more prone to things
Right.
like cuts and burns because you're
Sure.
doing this.
And it's not. Oftentimes, it's your camping utensils that you're cooking with, not your typical home stuff. And it doesn't feel the same. It might not be sharpened the same way. So things don't cut the same way, or what have you. So sometimes it's things aren't normal. You're not in your normal situation. And for me, we've been doing activities, and suddenly the boy monster is hungry.
Somebody's hungry
and
right now.
so you feel rushed. And so wrong setting, different tools, and the rush.
I don't think I've
Members.
ever hurt myself cooking while I was camping, but I don't cook when I camp.
I have hurt myself
Cereal.
either on fires or
Yeah.
cooking because I'm never sure. I guess I don't think about what's hot. And when you're starting a fire too,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're actually starting a fire, sometimes it like goes really big
Yeah.
or I don't know. Maybe I don't do it enough, but I am prone to burns
Okay.
when I cook outdoors.
Yeah.
I mean, things just aren't the way I'm normally used to.
When you're talking about poking, I have 1,000% been assaulted by my breakaway cable.
Isn't that crazy?
Like,
that braided
more than once.
little rope that's supposed to be encased in plastic.
What?
Yeah, the breakaway cable.
You've never been poked by your breakaway cable?
No.
Yeah, but they start to fray,
Mine
and
shredded.
those little ends. Sure. So they loop around the hook or their carabiner or whatever, and they're pinned back or clipped back,
okay.
and you run your hand up to grab that clip, and it's just you're not thinking. You run your hand up to grab the clip, and right there at the base of the clip is a little frayed end of breakaway cable, and it will stab the boogers out of you.
It's true.
It's not even close to your nose, and it'll do it.
I can tell
I just pictured a breakaway cable going up my nose. Now I want to die.
Oh.
Quit.
Oh, have you ever been camping and just enjoying your time and you found someone who had a toothpick injury?
No.
No? Have you ever run across someone who does the whole flipping the toothpick thing? And you'll see a scar. Many of the people who do the toothpicking thing have an experience where they have a scar on their lip from incidental toothpick flip.
I think that's cartoonish. I can't imagine.
Oh, well, get to know some more Texans.
Is that camping or toothpick injuries?
Is that just toothpick idiocy?
I mean, I've had them jabbed like under a fingernail.
Stop.
but we said we weren't going to get that graphic.
Okay, well, let's talk about something that really happens on camping trips, and that's fish hooks.
I'm out.
Do we all have a fish hook
Oh,
story?
I hate fish hooks. I love fishing. I'm not good at it, but I do hate me some fish hooks because what do?
Do it.
There's a way to do it, but it's awful. I mean, they have the barb at the end.
Oh, stop. But it happens.
Yeah.
It's Lindsay, when Hawk and Simone went fishing the first time, and wasn't it Simone that got poked with a fish hook, and we pulled it out? She didn't even cry.
Probably.
How young was she?
And I was just,
this is my theory.
Little, and I
little
was just
kids
amazed.
don't cry.
We
as
were all
easily.
horrified.
Yeah.
And she didn't even cry.
Man,
She also got stung on the face by a wasp when we were camping, and she didn't cry. Remember? She was like, la la la.
Yeah. It's wild. The littlest kids, they do that. That's the thing. When my son grabbed the cactus, same sort of thing. I mean, it was just a look of bewilderment, but not understanding. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Well,
back to burns, because it's the cooking thing, and the things that oftentimes get people are the bacon.
Yes.
I have heard more baking stories in campers. People also, so many stories. I just can't even start.
Yeah. So bacon, coffee. I mean, hot
Okay,
water.
The other question I have is, why do people cook bacon without being fully clothed? Because I have heard 2 bacon burn stories.
without being fully clothed.
Correct.
Where exactly are they camping?
Specifically when they're camping?
Yes.
I mean, there's some far off places in BLM land and all that, which is part of the deal. If you're way in BLM land or whatever, take your shower out in the open. Why not? But also cook your bacon unclothed. I don't know.
I'm not cooking bacon in my camper ever.
But you can cook it outside and still get your burn.
Yeah,
and one was a story that I just can't even repeat on this.
That's our other podcast. You can find it at.
But the other one was just a guy didn't have a shirt on and he got burned from bacon.
Bacon grease is
and something
powerful
plopped
stuff.
in there and bacon grease popped out.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, put a shirt on.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. We're talking about things that happen at campsites.
So absolutely
grease
bacon.
will burn you.
What about foil packet cooking? I've been burned by that because oftentimes there's either there's oil in it or you're cooking and it generates its own grease, and you pick it up and those foil packets don't have necessarily a perfect seal anywhere.
If you tilt it the wrong way,
it's like a greasy.
And it runs out.
Right. And
like
it retains the heat. Now a lot of foil packet mills have like potatoes and all these other insulators in it, so they're hot. They stay hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely that. My first time camping that I think ever in my life was with my father after Christmas. One Christmas, he got a little 4-person tent and some camping supplies, and this was at Christmas at his parents' house here in Austin. So we went down here to McKinney Falls right after Christmas. We camped before we went home, and it was my first time camping. A lot of accidents happened on that camping trip. I got lost in the woods, all kinds of stuff. But the big thing was he made skewers for roasting hot dogs and marshmallows out of coat hangers.
Oh,
yeah.
The old style way.
The old style way works great till you grab the wrong end because it's your first time camping with an open campfire.
So did you grab it with or without the marshmallow on it?
Without. It had.
Because you don't know.
You don't
all
know.
End up being.
Yeah, and I didn't know. Curved hook end should be handle end. I was a little kid at this point in time. I was probably 7 or 8, never been camping in my life. And I grabbed this thing on the wrong side. And it was a full hand cauterized, the like it had hit the metal burn all the way up from ham of hand to tip of finger.
I bet that was miserable.
It was a not fun heal because everything moves in your hand on the inside of your hand for the next month or so. It kept on opening up and oozing and back. So that was my skewer.
Oh, that's scary.
Have you ever been injured by a campfire?
I'm so scared of that.
I don't think I have, honestly. Or if I have, I don't remember it.
You would think a campfire would be one of the major causes of injury and burns when you're camping, but I very rarely hear of that. I mean, not that it can't happen, but I don't hear about it.
What I've heard is kids roughhousing around it.
Okay, well.
Or drunk people roughhousing around it.
Or lackadaisically housing, not roughly. Yeah, those are the two instances. And that's one thing that when there's an open fire, I typically will stay real close to it until it's out with the kids because those coals are awful.
Well, that's how a lot of forest fires start.
Yeah.
But doesn't hurt people as much unless they're doing something stupid or they're drunk.
Right.
Real drunk.
Showers. If you've been burned by a shower, the campground showers don't get that hot.
Yeah, I concur.
However, if you're camping using something like Hip Camp, which I have done several times, and I love using Hip Camp as a service. The dirt, I've used the dirt. You find places where people have set up their private property for camping, and some of them provide showers.
And
those showers, there might be a solar shower. Solar showers really get
can burn you.
Yeah,
they get
That's crazy.
So these really cool private places, you need to just test them. They've provided a great place to camp, a once in a lifetime experience that isn't a state park, isn't a national park. You're the only one out there. Fantastic. Do test the temperature of that hot water.
Yeah, and solar showers for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? One of the places that people do get burned because they don't know it or they don't understand is the hot water heaters. Because hot water heaters, when they get hot, they have a pressure relief valve that drips.
Yes.
And they see that drip. First thing they do
is
flip it up. Yeah.
is they reach in and pull the lever to see if maybe it's not on tight.
I'm so scared of that thing.
And when you pull that lever, the steam escapes because that's what it's there for.
And that happens in kitchens too.
Yes.
Steam is a bad thing.
Steam is
unless you want locomotion.
Hotter than hot water.
Yeah.
I mean, steam is what happens to hot water when it gets even hotter. It turns to steam.
I have learned something here.
Steam is what happens to hot water when it gets hotter.
So steam will burn you.
The more you know.
Well, but most people don't think about that.
Yeah.
Steam evaporates in the air, but steam will burn you worse.
I think that this is a big thing across all of these injury types is that it's those moments where we're just not thinking something fully through.
Yeah.
If I see a drip on something, I may not pay attention to the fact that drip is on the spout coming out of the water here. I just see a dripping on it. I'm like, drip. And it's just mindlessly, and that's
Stick
the problem.
Your hand
mindlessly reach for it. And I haven't fully thought around the scenario.
Yeah.
Boiling batteries. I've had a battery boil. It did not burn me, but it smelled real bad.
Yeah.
And so I didn't touch it, but
That was one of your first camping trips in a teardrop.
that was a Intech Luna. Yes.
Yeah. Not the Luna's fault.
No, totally not the
No.
Luna's fault.
If I remember right, maybe the battery was wired backwards or something happened.
I don't know. But
No, I think the converter failed. So batteries boiling over, a lot of people try to reach in, disconnect them, clean them, fix them, and then you get that battery acid on your hands.
And acid's awful.
It's terrible. It is bad, bad, bad news.
This is one thing. Later on, I have eye injuries, and I'm just terrified of batteries because I've heard so many stories. I think I've met one person in my life who was under the hood of a vehicle with an old school battery.
And it exploded.
Right. Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah,
And-
you can. Yeah. So that is, it looks so innocent to see the white powder around your battery and think you're going to just wipe it off or clean it up or undo your battery and somehow that stuff gets on something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see mechanics with holes in their shirt. That's most likely battery acid.
That's how I find out that I've had a battery acid. You wash it one time, you don't even know, but you put it through the wash.
And it comes out looking like a rat chewed on
what
it.
happened? Yeah, so the most innocuous of burns that I do run across that I happen to get more often than I care to admit is just leaning against any exposed metal in Texas.
This is true.
Those extrusions.
Slides, those slides.
Yeah.
And you know what? Campgrounds have a lot of those metal slides.
You're right. It's childhood.
The sun. That's my number one injury all the time forever.
Yeah.
It's just sunburn.
I get sunburn in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
You would think that you'd be reflecting all that, but no, you're absorbing some of it.
well, if I would just put out my damn awning.
Yeah.
if you just pinch
Shade
your
and pinch.
finger, then you'd be fine. But so many of the injuries that we have when we're camping are just from having fun. You slip and fall, you trip on something.
Yeah.
Just standard campground injuries.
Yeah.
I think if we're talking camping injuries, we cannot rule that out. I mean, that's really probably the majority of the things that I deal with.
Yeah.
I fell down.
Yeah.
Or I tripped, or, just grabbed something I shouldn't.
Yeah. So bumps and bruises category. I think
this is mine.
We need to go right into Lindsay. Lindsay, how many bruises are you wearing right now?
well, Clint.
Shall we go into?
What are you wearing?
Do you unhook your trailer and then walk into the hitch? And
Yes.
bang your shin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's an event for me.
What's that?
It's kind of like a morning.
Yeah.
I have a giant bruise. Is it still there?
This is when
my
you got
goodness.
Ed our Elkhart trip, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Is it
What happened? Yes.
Okay, that's from crawling into a storage compartment in a Cirrus 920.
Folks, this is what you should be doing, is crawling into storage compartments.
So yes, maybe I have the most bumps and bruises out of anybody in the whole world, but it's also probably because I do things like crawl into storage compartments of a truck camper. And I didn't even know where that one came from. I had to ask Caitlin. I was like, where did I get this? But yeah, bumps and bruises is like kind of my thing. And it's usually never from falling. It's usually from the corners of tables.
Yeah.
Like, you know how when you have to scoot into a table.
all the time.
And I bruise easily.
I misjudge distances too often, especially if I have a ball cap on.
Do you just always have a bruise right here?
You've seen me. Y'all have been around for me hitting myself pretty hard in these trailers over the years.
Absolutely. On your
Caitlin
forehead when you walk out the door?
Yeah, I think Kaylin was almost in tears in Elkhart this past week because I kept on.
How many times you bumped your head?
I mean, it was awful. Plus, I have two herniated discs, so I hit my head, and that went straight down my spine to my discs, and it was. Hold on, I need a moment.
I have to say that out of all these bumps and bruises scenarios, I really like picnic tables the best because I've never seen picnic spelled like that.
I know. I spelled it that way, and I was like, "That is not wrong.
It's not.
Or that is not right.
It's not even close to right."
Folks, I spelled it as pick the person who is Nick. Pick Nick.
P-I-C-K-N-I-C-K. I like it.
Like you're.
You were a teacher.
Yeah, but I wasn't in language arts.
Well,
Ooh, east-west beds will get you too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually just added that.
Because when you crawl in, it gets you right in the shin, trying to like the edge of the bed.
Or if
I
you're the
have
one
to
being
say,
crawled over.
The other person that I have to crawl over, namely my husband, probably has bruises because I'm
Knee him
clumsy
in the
and I am
side
just
and-
like kicking and crawling all the way over, and then I have to crawl back in.
Let's also say this: you are fit, and you have knees and elbows that could really get somebody.
I'm wiry.
I mean,
is that what you're saying?
It's the point of impact is so acute.
My bony elbows.
Yeah. So I bet you have left some pretty good bruises there. So what about this one? This is one that I missed it. Oh, here we go. Poorly executed pickleball shots.
Okay, I think that is just you entertaining yourself with our list.
Of course.
Having fun.
Someone listening knows what I'm talking about,
You
though.
would have to play pickleball to have that happen. And I have never had that experience. So
why have we not done this yet? Since it's such a craze, it's been a craze for the past 2 or 3 years, maybe more. And and we haven't done this.
I don't know. But if we come back around to things that happen when you're camping, I think poison ivy is. I have never had poison ivy or poison oak or any of that.
Whoa. You skipped over a lot.
Oh, we can come back to a lot.
Well, I thought we might be here all day if we talked about everything on this list, like pickleball, but I can back up.
Poison ivy sucks.
That's
all I have to say about that.
I've never had it.
You've never had poison ivy?
No.
Yeah, you don't want it. So I used to be able to go traipsing through poison ivy. I grew up in South Texas. There's enough of it down there. But there was this one summer that I was helping out an elderly couple clean up their property, run their house and all that. And that's all I was doing.
What a good kid you were.
I was earning money. But
and the bottom line is,
but I was cleaning off their fence lines, lost the poison ivy and all that. I was moving stacks of wood from one place to another, and I got into it like I'd never had before. And I was carrying logs, and the logs were full of ants, and they stung up my arms, which opened up all those pores. And then I got stung by like 3 yellow jackets on my arms. Same wood pile.
What?
And I was going through poison ivy that day, and by the end of the day, my forearms were starting to swell up like Popeye.
I can't imagine you didn't go into anaphylactic shock.
I don't know. Yeah, it was awful. So
That sounds horrible.
But maybe I was saved a little bit because it was South Texas August, and I was sweating so much that maybe it was helping me and hurting me both.
Yeah, I don't know.
But either way, since then, I am susceptible to poison ivy like I wasn't before.
That's crazy.
That is.
Wait, it's not though, because that's the same thing as when I got stung by bees. It never bothered me until I got stung by a whole lot of them.
Right.
And now it bothers me because your body says, oh, wait, I remember.
This is something I should worry about.
It has a memory. And unfortunately, it's a flawed memory because it makes you susceptible.
Right.
More
you
susceptible
react,
instead of less.
But do you remember I lived? So do we really need to make a big deal out of this body?
There is that. Yeah. So we're in allergic reactions. Just quickly, cleaning materials, sunscreens, and bug sprays. My sister has the weirdest reaction to a specific sunscreen. Something in some sunscreen will make her break out into these atrocious hives.
Well,
yeah, Krista, if you're listening,
I'd rather
don't even think about it. So,
well, that can always happen, and you never know because you grab it at the store on your way out when you're going camping.
Yeah.
So I've never had any of that. I don't know. I don't relate, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah. What category would you like to go to, Lindsay, since we're bouncing around?
Ear injuries.
What?
You weirdo.
What are you talking about? Both of those things have personally happened to me.
Okay. All right.
What?
Lead us into
What do you mean
it.
what? You know this story. Okay. I Q-tip too hard pretty much every day of my life.
Okay.
Which is on Clint's list that he made for us.
I don't.
That's right. I didn't know this was her thing.
Well, I stopped using Q-tips and now I just use the end of a bobby pin.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes-
I go back to Q-tips.
Everyone's
at
gonna
least.
hate me so
Doctor
much.
is going to panic.
No, I don't have a doctor. It's fine. He's not listening.
Forget the audiologist. Yeah.
Okay, but-
okay. So raise your hand, listening audience, if you understand the term eargasm,
What?
Ew.
because Q-tipping it can be glorious.
No, that's y'all think Q-tips feel good. Try the end of a bobby pin.
I don't know. That one scares me.
I don't stick it in. You just do this part, the same you would with a Q-tip. You just do but it actually gets it out. The Q-tip is just fluff that pushes it in and swirls it around.
My mom, when I was a kid, used to clean my ears with the end of a bobby pin.
Yeah, it's like the perfect
Oh, so
size.
this is a family thing. This is
I don't
No,
know.
she had no idea I did that.
No, I had no idea she did that.
But it's the perfect
I
size.
did not teach her that.
But the more important one and more camping related.
this is wild.
Yeah, I can't believe you wrote it, and I can't believe you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I can't believe you've never heard this story.
She did it on purpose, by the way.
I just forgot on purpose.
What is it, everybody? What is it?
It was the night before I was taking my driving test at the DMV to get my driver's license. Oh. And me and some friends went down to go camping. But we didn't have a tent or a trailer or anything like that because we were teenagers and who cares? Yeah. So we just slept on the ground.
Absolutely.
And then when I remember waking up like in a sleeping bag on the ground and having this huge, like this pain in my ear, and I felt like it was in my brain and I could feel it moving. Like I could feel something moving in there. And I remember Carrie was with me, and I don't even remember, Chucky was with me.
The doll?
No, my friend from high school used to work here.
Okay.
And I remember waking up and freaking out, and there was this much. And so like we looked in my ear and I was like, there's something crawling in my ear. I can feel its little tiny legs like way in there. And there was this much vodka left in the McCormick's bottle. And I said,
pour it in there.
Pour it in my ear. Because I didn't know what else to do. So they poured it into my ear and I could feel it stop moving. And then I went immediately and took my driving test and passed with a 70.
And what was in your ear?
I'm not sure. It never came out.
Oh.
But the doctor, I remember the next time Caitlin is like
it's
mortified right now. No, I remember I looked it up, and I do remember talking to a doctor about it like the next time I went, and he said like usually when things crawl in your ear and die, they're basically going to like decompose and just kind of fall out in pieces, and you won't really notice. I feel like if it was still in there 20 years later, I would feel like I would I'd be like, ow, my ear hurts all the time, or I can't hear, but it's totally normal. I really want to know what kind of bug it was. I think that's really what bothers me the most is I'll never know, but there was something in there crawling, and the vodka fixed it. So if you have something crawling in your ear, pour some alcohol in there because it makes it stop moving.
Yeah. There you go.
And then don't go take a driving test.
Good story. All right. So what do y'all say we jump to respiration injuries and then withdrawals?
Let's
and
say
then we wrap
get
this up.
Out of this ear thing.
Yeah. So respiration injuries. Now, these are things that I don't know that some of these are slow onset injuries, like improper ventilation when using fuel burning heaters or anything of the like. You might be injuring yourself over time with carbon monoxide and whatnot.
These are all the things that I am the most afraid of, I think, when I go camping.
Yeah.
Because if you read them off, I mean, there is improper ventilation if you have fuel burning heaters, which is basically carbon monoxide and the chemicals coming into the air, the overexposure to propane, and any kind of fuel flames. Off-gassing of the RV interiors, which is what you smell in a new one.
Right.
And, just the dust that floats around inside campers and when you're camping. So all of that put together, that's one of those things that it's not anything you might notice immediately.
It's cumulative over time sometimes.
And some people say, I always have terrible allergies when I go camping.
Right. Or when I get back. It's all great till I get back and it hits you like a wall.
So all of those things add to it. And maybe it's something that isn't an immediate injury, but something that, definitely is part of it.
Yeah.
And when I think for a lot of people, for me, when your detector goes off, not so much the smoke alarm, but the carbon monoxide detector goes off, it is such a panic because for someone who doesn't maybe know all the things, I'm trying to figure out, well, what is it? Well, you go to your propane, you go to this, you go to your stove. Right. I remember it kept beeping when our battery was boiling.
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't think to look at the battery. I was looking at the propane because I thought that's what it was. So like when those things do go off, it's such a panic of like, did the dog fart too hard? Or am I going to die? Yeah. I mean, like those are they're pretty far apart from each other, but it could be either one. So, and it's so scary. Yeah. It's so scary.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then my last one on here, I think is the most important one, the withdrawals. Because this is hard, y'all.
It is an injury that happens when we go camping. Yes.
Yeah. I know. You might not have phone service. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You might get away from that toxic relationship and it'll be hard.
Withdrawals will kill you, everybody.
It's true.
So that's it. Wi-Fi, screens, no cell service.
So what do you
Toxic
think?
Withdrawing from
relationships.
people?
Yeah,
in
withdrawing
general?
from people.
What do you think are the most common withdrawal symptoms?
Probably these days, internet connectivity.
No, I mean,
bet.
what are the symptoms?
Oh.
How do you know you have it?
You don't
Anxiety.
know what to do with yourself.
Straight up anxiety.
What do I do with my hands? What am I supposed to do? I'm camping in the woods and I'm not doing anything. Where's my screen? What am I doing?
Eye strain because you're
confusion?
looking further away than your hands can hold a phone.
Eye strain.
Confusion of I don't know what to do.
What my place is in this world all of a sudden?
I don't know how to. I no longer know how to human.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, all of those things.
I think that this is real. I think this is a very real thing. Is because of our modern connected life, those first 24, 48 hours can be unsettling.
Well, I definitely have trouble slowing down. My third day is the best.
Which is unfortunate because oftentimes your trips are 3 days. that's the day you're packing up to leave.
That's very true.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, you know what? All kinds of real injuries and issues when you go camping. Do you think anybody learned anything on this podcast?
I would like to think people relate.
I would like to think people were entertained.
Yeah.
And
I hope they can commiserate.
I'm so sorry.
You blanked, didn't you?
As my son calls it, I Google glitched.
You Google glitched. That'd fall under withdrawals, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Give me the
Google.
Google.
Let's withdraw from this podcast.
Very nice, very nice. Everyone, you can check out the show notes at rvsmalltalk.com. You can see our faces, our lovely faces, uninjured at the moment, on our YouTube channel, RV Small Talk Podcast on YouTube, and you can find us on socials as well. Turns out that's RV Small Talk as well. So we have a trailer rally coming up in the fall. It's just a few weeks away. Look it up, Texas Tiny Trailer Rally, and come on out and hang with us.
It's free.
It's free.
And you can bring any trailer you want. I don't care what size it is or where you bought it.
That's right.
Come hang out with us.
There you go. And that does it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Mwah.